Hi friends, for today's lesson you will need your thinking cap, a pencil, your EL workbook if you have it, and if you don't have your workbook, your teacher probably gave you a worksheet that looks like this. If you don't have your supplies, pause the video to go get them. If you do have your supplies, just keep watching. Let's get started with our learning target. Today's learning target says, I can look closely at the illustrations and text to describe how the girl begins to make her magnificent thing. Let's read that learning target one more time. I can look closely at the illustrations and text to describe how the girl begins to make her magnificent thing. In our learning target, you may have noticed the word closely. We will be practicing all year how to look closely at illustrations, pictures, and words within our text. Sometimes with a really rich and complex text, readers need to reread the text over and over again, looking closely at the pictures and the words so that they can better understand all of the details in the book. Today, I will be reading a small portion of our text, The Most Magnificent Thing, and we will look closely at the words and the pictures. Close readers have to do a couple of things when they're reading closely. Let's look at this anchor chart. The first bullet says, look closely at the pictures. The second bullet says, reread important parts of the text. That means that we're going to be reading the portions of the text more than one time. Number 3 says, listen carefully to the words. Remember, good readers are always thinking about what they're hearing in a book. And the last bullet says, answer questions about the words and the pictures. So today, as we closely read our text again, we'll be trying to do all of these things. Now remember, readers, we have already read our text once before. So today, before we get started with our short close read, I want to ask and answer some questions with you. Our first question is, what is the story mostly about? I'll give you some private think time. That's right, our story is mostly about our main character, the little girl, who's making a scooter for her dog. Now, look at that word, magnificent. Whew, that's a big word, isn't it? When we think about her magnificent thing that she's building, we think about that scooter, don't we? Magnificent means something that is very beautiful to look at or spectacular. Our question that we're going to be answering today has the word magnificent in it. Our question for today is, how is the girl able to make such a magnificent thing? As I'm reading our close read, think about that question. How was she able to make such a magnificent thing? Let's get ready to do our close read. We're just reading a small portion of our text so that we can look closely at the words and the pictures. Before we get started reading, think about our question one more time. Our question is, how is the girl able to make such a magnificent thing? To answer our question, we'll have to pay close attention to what she's doing and what that's called. We'll be charting what she's doing and what that's called on our anchor chart. On one side, we'll write all the things that the girl does, and on the other side, we'll write down those habits of character. Let's get started with our book, The Most Magnificent Thing. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things. He unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. All she has to do is make it. And she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant. Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. We're going to stop on this page. Then we're going to go back and read again closely and fill out our chart. Let's look at this page. The pictures show that she's trying to work on making something. Maybe she's playing around with some supplies. And then it looks like she all of a sudden has an idea. Let's read those words. She makes things. He unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. So on this page, what is the girl doing? Let's think about that for a second. What is the girl doing on this page? That's right, on this page, she is deciding to do something, and then she's going to do it. Let's write that on our chart. She decides to make something. Now, what is this called when you decide to do something and you do it? Can you think of a word that means you decide it and you do it? That's right. We call this initiative. Can you do that with me? Initiative. The girl in our text is showing initiative. She decides to make something, and she does it. Let's keep reading to see how else she completes her magnificent thing. Here, we're going to focus in on this page, but let's look at these illustrations first. Looks like she's drawing, creating. Maybe she's thinking through some things with her dog. The words on this page say, first, she hires an assistant. What is the girl doing on this page? It sort of looks like she's interviewing her dog. I think she's interviewing him because she wants to hire him as an assistant. Let's add that to our chart. She wants to work with someone. Now, what is it called when you want to work with someone to get the job done? Think about that word. I'll give you a moment of think time. That's right. We call that collaboration. Can you say that with me? Collaboration. On this page, the girl decides to hire her dog to work with her. She's choosing collaboration to make her job easier. Let's take a second to look back at our chart. So far, we have two things that the girl is doing. She decides to make something, which we call initiative, and she wants to work with someone. We call that collaboration. Now remember, before we started our close read, I asked you a really important question. The question was, how is the girl able to make her most magnificent thing? This goes with our learning target. Our learning target said that we would look closely at the pictures and the words to describe how the girl was able to make her magnificent thing. We filled out a chart as we read. On our chart, we listed two things that the girl did to help her make her magnificent thing. Think about those and try to answer my question. I'll give you some think time. That's right. The little girl was able to begin making her magnificent thing because first she decided what to do and she did it. She showed initiative. Then she hired her silly little dog to be her assistant and she showed collaboration. You did a wonderful job tackling your learning target today. You did a close read and you really thought about the details in our text. For your independent work today, you will need your workbook, your pencil, and if you don't have your workbook, your teacher probably gave you a worksheet, and you can use that. In your workbook, go to page 9. On page 9, you will be writing and illustrating examples of a magnificent thing. Let's look closely at those directions and read them together. The directions say, draw something you think is magnificent. Write about why it is magnificent. First, you need to draw something that's magnificent, beautiful to look like, and spectacular. And then write about why that thing is magnificent. Why is it so beautiful to look at? And why is it spectacular? I can't wait to see what you decide to write and draw about. You did a wonderful job today, and I will see you later. Bye, friends.